So specialisation would probably be about the second topic you study, and the specification asks you to explain how specialisation can be used to address the problem of scarcity, so that basic economic problem that you can't have everything that you want to have. Just a bit of a warning here that actually you do need to know the problems of specialisation as well, so that has come up in past exams. So specialisation, make sure you learn the definition, which is this: the concentration by a worker or workers, firm or whole economy on a narrow range of goods or services, it could add on the end. Basically you're specialising, you've got a specialist area and you're just focusing on that. So for example, I focus on teaching economics, microeconomics in particular. So what are the benefits? Why would you do this rather than just, say, me teaching a whole range of subjects? So here are the benefits. They're taken from the textbook, and I'm going to slightly modify them a little bit, but the first one's really good. So you increase the quantity of goods and services that can be produced. In the exam, they're usually going to ask you to state a point and explain it. So why does this happen? Well, you practice it and you get really, really good at it. So you can increase that output and produce more units because you're just focusing on one thing. And also you might use specialist technology as well to help you produce that output. So if you're a factory and you're producing just one type of, say, football, you can produce a lot of them because you don't need to kind of alter your machines every few hours to produce, tennis rackets or tennis balls or things like that. The second point is really good as well. It can increase the quality of each unit of output. Again, you're practicing at something. You're getting specialists in their field. So I'm just thinking about a hospital now because there was one on a past paper in 2010 about a maternity unit. So you get specialist doctors, specialist midwives, nurses that just deal with maternity issues. And so they're very well trained in those areas, so the quality's increased. Now, because you're improving the quantity of your output, what you can do is this third point. You can produce a surplus, so more than you actually need, and then trade anything that you have that's in excess of what you need. So you can actually access more things as well through trade, and it can help whole countries, or this is the theory anyway, through export-led growth. So that's the kind of macro benefit there. However, it does have problems. If you are specialising in an area that relies on a finite resource, which most resources are, and that resource runs out, then you're a bit stuffed really, because you've not spread the risk. You're not producing in a lot of fields. You're reliant on this one thing that you can no longer reproduce. It can also displace certain jobs. So maybe if your economy, your political rulers decide that we're going to specialise in this one field, you might get kind of people's jobs having to move over to that one field. Bad weather can threaten crops. This is from this textbook. Yeah, if you're specialising in crops, then yes, and there's a lot of risk in primary sector production in that sense, but you don't just need to specialise in crops, you can specialise in a whole load of other things. Consumer taste change, I think this is more of a risk really, and this was on a question in the Airfix past paper, problems of specialisation. Well, it's fine if you've got demand for that product, but if consumer tastes change and people don't no longer want to produce or make their own little model aeroplanes, then you're as stuffed as the kind of the first bullet point on here. And there are political risks involved with it. A lot of countries, poorer countries, certainly African countries as well, are advised to specialise in something that they're good at. But as you can see on this video, it's about rice production in Ghana. It's quite a nice little short video if you want to watch it. But according to that video, if you kind of specialise in one area, if you're competing with someone like America, but I have to say the EU do this as well, who subsidise their products very heavily, their primary sector produce, and then they're kind of exporting it to you, it can be very, very risky. But the video explains a little bit more about that. That's just really wider knowledge. I wouldn't necessarily bring that into a past paper question. Division of labour is very interesting. It's a subsect of specialisation, really. And it all started with this. Well, one of the first people to publicly write about this was the person who's on the back of a £20 banknote, who is Adam Smith, and here he is, the division of labour in pin manufacturing and the great increase in the quantity of work that resulted, I think that says. So Adam Smith, founder of modern economics, so some information there for you, and Ford of Ford fame, you know, the cars, use this approach, and Frederick Taylor, if you're studying business studies as well, kind of did the time and motion studies. But division of labour is just a type of specialisation, so it's breaking your process down into separate tasks, and it actually can increase the output greatly. And again, you get practice at it, you get specialist tools, you get really good at producing it, so quality and quantity should increase. So that's specialisation.